So the connector, what is the connector API? I mean, the connector is a REST API, which gives you the possibility to get bookable and non-bookable content. And as many of you already know, our products, the Evolution IBE, is based on the connector. So everything you see in the Evolution IBE or in the Cosmonaut as our travel agency system is based on the connector API and its results from there. Our connector basis is based on some different routes. Just to give you a really quick overview, we have, for example, the static route, which gives you the static data as, for example, regions, airports, 3-letter codes, or even school holidays within Europe. So this is the static route. Then we have the tour operator route, where you can see all active tour operators receive their AGB and their logo, for example. Then we have the completions route, which is used for the auto completion. We have the regions route, where you become a list of regions and I think it's called under regions, with available offers for your search. Then we have the hotels and the offers route, which are again like separated in some more routes. So for the hotels, we have the hotel route, the search for hotel. Then, for example, we have the hotel route with the GIATA IDs, where you can look into for more hotel details. And for example, also a price calendar, which you can use. So the hotel route is even divided in some more routes, which you can use to get more information. Then we have the offer route to search for specific offers, which you then can book. And we have the offers route, which is also divided into packaging. We have hotel only, rail travel, which might be also interesting. And of course, the add-ons that can be used, like insurance, car rental, or parking, for example. And also the possibility in here to use the price calendar. And once you have decided for an offer, here in the offer route, you can also verify an offer and proceed with the bookings and get available payments for a specific offer. Let me just go back. Yeah, and the last two routes is the booking route, where you can get, for example, the list of all the bookings that you have in your license, or also book an offer. So this is the booking route, and you can also receive booking details in here. And then, of course, at last, we have the documents route, where you receive for example, the visa. I mean, we have integrated pass solution here for the visa regulations for specific countries, and also the, for example, to create a form or document. This is the documents route. So this was just a quick and a short introduction into the connector and into its routes. And for more deeper technical details, I will now give over the word to Jens.
Okay, thank you, Katharina. Yeah, so again, from me, hello to this workshop. It's our first workshop now in English. So let's start with what the connector is. And Katharina just did a short overview. Let me switch just into a few details of the Swagger documentation. right? So as you see, Swagger is just a link which originally comes from some specifications. And in there, all you need to do to test and work is just click on the authorize. If you already have keys to use it, you just need to enter it and off you go and you can test it. If you don't, Katharina is happy to provide you with a test license so that we can work with you together, hopefully in the future. Yeah. So the main things, we always work on HTTPS, right? There's a little loop back to see whether the API is alive. Hopefully it is. And to start off, to get all the kind of basis or static data which you need to display in the IDE or wherever, this is where you use that static root for. So for example, how do you use a Swagger? I'm not sure whether you used that before. You just always go to try it out, yeah? And then you have options of things which you can choose on, which you enable or disable or whatever, yeah? So in the static root, let me just explain a little things we changed in the last release. So we made it possible to define the departure airport lists. So originally, the departure is usually based on what we call DACH, which is German-speaking country markets, yeah. So, but we had the request from actually some of you guys or girls to say no, our departure is not here in Germany. Our departure, let's be in Slovenia or different countries. So let's explain that. Just assume our departure airports are somewhere in Slovenia, and let's take Austria, which is just nearby, as a departure airport list. By the way, you can do it either that way, yeah, or that way. Both works. Yeah. And then if we query that, so you hit execute, and then loads of a number of data. And then you see, now I get a departure airport list of all departure airports which are in Austria and in Slovenia. So Slovenia, for example, Maribor, Podgorica, I'm missing Ljubljana, and here's Ljubljana, yeah? So for you guys from Slovenia, this is how you create, because if you don't do that, so okay, so we create that again. Now you see, we start with airports in Germany, Austria, and Czech Republic and so on. But it's now not that list as we had it before, right? Okay. So that's a short look into that static root. What else is there? You kind of get a list of region, as Katharina said. It might be interesting for some of you. You can have a list of possible school holidays, right? Okay, Katharina just explained just before the tour operator list. I want to go into one detail of the hotels list, which we changed recently. Again, typical search areas, you can select like what kind of product you want to use, like pauschal or flight or one-way flights and so on. And we had the topic that some of our clients complained that the list of tour operators is somehow related to the list of operators who have media content. And we found it helpful to distinguish that you can specify, let's say, you can say, I want to have offers from FTI, yeah, but you want to have media content from TUI, yeah. So that wasn't possible before. Before we connected both, we said, okay, I want to have the offers of FTI, and but I want to have the better media content from TUI. I know that's not a realistic use case, but it's the option that, for example, you include or exclude media content from certain partners, or even the other way around, that you say, okay, I want to have media data from whoever is available. Yeah. So I don't want to limit it to my tour operator list. So a more useful case is something like that. Yeah. So actually, of course, if I have content from FTI, I want to have that. But in addition, I want to have content from TUI. And for example, some of our tour operators who are using our APIs in a connector or having an evolution IBE from us, they use such features just to limit their content, and that's the way how to do that. Also, one change we did in the past, let's just check whether we can have a simple search here. Just as a demo, we have a search. Okay. So here we see the result for our search was 21 hits. Yeah. And if we go into a bit of a detail, we see that some of those offers, for whatever reason, don't have pictures, which is no good. Yeah. So generally, would rather filter out those which don't have pictures and text, because you don't know what you buy, right? And in order to do that, I mean, of course, you can do it on your end, not a question. But we did that as a new parameter because some of our clients said, look, if I'm requesting 1,000 of hotels, I really want to have only those hotels who really have pictures. And this is a new thing we introduced. And this is a filter. Oh, is that too many filters? That's filter no pictures. So we now can say, please filter out all hotels which don't have pictures. So remember, we had 21 before. We don't know how many we have without pictures. In this case, out of those 21, 3 had no pictures, and they are now filtered out. Beware here. So whatever you ask on results might be reduced by the ones which we filtered out. Also to mention, we work on that. Of course, we talk to the tour operators and we talk to whoever is available. Media content usually comes from Giata, so we check with Giata what's possible there. So always try to get the best out of it. But this is a simple way to filter out those offers which don't have pictures. Okay. Next feature which we introduced, a small one. Let me share that one as well. You know, if you search for offers, yeah, simple example here. Before we've seen the hotels, the hotel route, and now we search for offers. And for each offer, to identify an offer, you get an offer code back, right? Let's see. To pick a search example. So got a number of offers. And here you've got the offer code. Yeah. Not sure what that one is. With that offer code, in this case, it's an offer for 5VF, right? You can check whether this offer is still available. So, because it could happen during the day that certain offers don't get updated anymore and will be booked out. And a way to check that is the verify offers. What all you do here is you enter your offer code, which we just received, right? And execute search and see, hopefully it's bookable. Okay. In that case, let's scroll a bit down. We got all the messages like buchbar. A hint here, please check only for status code. So that tells you, independent of the most language of the tour operators, which we have unfortunately in German, but you can trust that information, trust code, status code, okay. Yeah. So going a bit further down, we get information like how to book that later on, what is a tour operator code and stuff like that, the offer code, logo, and so on. Flight times, you might have not seen that one before. And details about the room as well. Yeah, and the total price. What we changed recently is if we receive any information from the tour operator, we will state that as a text as well. This text is currently in German. We're working on getting that translated also into different languages, right? So all it says here is invoice. So possible payment types for 5VF is currently invoice, which is the code RE. And what that's actually FTI together with 5VF. What they say, if you book, you actually book via us. So using Sofortüberweisung, PayPal or credit card. So they changed the handling, obviously due to PSD2 changes. Yeah, so to the strong customer authentication, they changed the handling because normally with most tour operators you can book that directly via credit card, but FTI in this case changed the handling. And how we display that? So we say what kind of payment method. So in Germany we call that, for whatever reason, incasso. Are possible, and it says, okay, it's invoice, that's the code, and that's the time frame where you can use it. Yeah, so it's minimum 8 days before departure. Then you can use invoice. Okay, good. So that's first how you obtain the hash codes or the offer codes, and how do you check that, and what do you get as a feedback, right? As a last interesting thing I want to share directly with you is something which we introduced recently. That's recommendation. How does it work? Imagine you have an offer, you are on an offer page. In that offer page, the customer clicks and he's for whatever reason not happy with the offers. You don't know. Yeah? And instead of let him jump off your page, you can recommend now other hotels related to that hotel. And that's what we call recommendation route. So all you need to enter is a GIATA ID. For example, in this case, we have an example, GIATA ID 3274, right? And then we ask, okay, for pauschal only or for a hotel, can you recommend me any other hotels? And it just returns your results. The results are ranked by highest ranking value. So the more likely it is that somebody recommends that, this is a sorting value. So that this is more likely to recommend, this is less likely, and so on. And in the moment, it's just a list of, I can't remember, 10 or something like that. What we changed recently here as well is that we add information is why do we recommend that? So for example, you see this is something like a similar price. This is couple friendly, similar price, and so on. There are a couple of things which we incorporate, and we are improving on that. So with recommendations, quite important to have it as a mouse or whatever, why we do recommend that. Let's compare how does it look like. We have a customer called Clever Reisen who's actually using our system connector, and whenever they have something like special offers or something like that, I'm just taking something I haven't checked recently. So what they have a special offer, okay, fair enough. And just imagine the customer is not happy and wants to have different results. And what they do, they display here other offers, which they call alternative offers. So that's auto-generated from here. Yeah, and watch here what they do. Normally, you would just take the Giata IDs and throw that at our search. But beware, you need to consider the ranking value as well, because you display the ones which are closer from the result to that hotel as first. And that will also mean that you don't display lowest price first. It's actually sorted by ranking value. So how similar it is to the hotel we think. So compared, so that's an offer around 3,700 euro, a 5-star hotel, and therefore we recommend here other 5-star hotels, either in similar area or related area. Yeah. Okay. Good. This is it. As last thing, just a sec. My browser restarted and I have to reload. As a last thing, I want to share something with you in English, by the way. We introduced an extension of the connector to provide flex tarif in German. So that's actually symbol. It's about cancellation. Yeah. In Germany, as you might have in your countries, the problem that people want to cancel the booking as early as possible if they need to. And especially in Corona times, you try to find ways to make it more flexible to the customer. And what's now possible in our system, I may share that one in our Cosmonaut. You can now search for offers which are free of charge for cancellation for a certain amount of time. You will find that underneath here. Sorry, I'm in the German version in the moment because I switched languages. So we're searching now for offers which are cancelable for free, and usually it displays a range of days, how many days in advance it's canceled. For example, this offer, for example, FTI offers you can cancel that 14 to 2 o'clock in the day before departure, which is interesting, right? So it's possible. And it's all we do here, react on what our clients, our tour operators tell us. Therefore, we provide means of doing and searching for that and displaying that. In the moment, we're working to improve that and also make it bookable, because, for example, in the pauschal market, there's only one tour operator who allows that. That's currently Altours. So Altours in pauschal, so flight accommodation, you can cancel for free. Yeah. Most other tour operators, you have to pay something on top of that. And how is that done? We display it here as flexibel stornierbar, so flexible cancellation. Yeah. And if you search for that, you have tour operators. Like VTO or Schauinsland. Let's take Schauinsland. How would you do that in a travel agency? You would do that, you click here, and there's a TBM mask, and you would add something here. How do you do that? You would just, if you know how to do that, you would add a flex tariff to it. Yeah. Okay, here it says it was too short term. That's something we work on with Schauinsland. Let's take another offer which is a bit further away. Let's take 20th of May. Similar example, taking Schauinsland. And now all you need to do is just say S flex. And you see they put an additional charge on that of 58 euro. It's actually for Schauensland, it's like 29 euro per adult. And that way, when you book that offer, you can cancel it, including the flight, free of charge with a fee of 58 euro. How do we do that? So remember, we just saw that static route. So somewhere in that static route, there's an inclusive list where you say, okay, it's stornierbar or kostenlos. You may ask, oh, why I don't have that in English? I have to say we're working on that, but that's next. We just saw that in Cosmonaut. So if you search here, you do nothing else, but you use the option of searching for that code FS, which is defined as kostenlos stornierbar. I just did that. Yeah. And you get offers back, and you have it both ways. You have it as in an offers route, as in a hotels route, and as well as in the offered route. And now talking about that example, which we had just with Schauensland, how can we book that one? Yeah, and that's something new we did. That's the example we just saw. We added something which is called additional Thomas service list. So all you need to do in the booking, you add this line, actually this little structure, additional Thomas service list, request code S, service code flags. And then all it does, it books, for example, here's how we do it. We do it with a big extra. And here's the smaller example with Schauensland, because it's simpler structured. So all you need to do is S flags, and then you can book it. And you see it here somewhere, flex tarif. Currently, we're working on extending that, because how do you know which kind of offer you can take and what does it cost? Yeah, we're extending it currently in the way that we collect information from the tour operators, and we'll present you that as a new route, so you can requesting an offer code and asking, okay, what additional Thomas services can you offer us? And then the thing gets more easier and more simpler to display. And you see it's quite complex. For example, big extra, which is tour operator, says, okay, if the price is in a certain range, yeah, for example, up to 3,000 euro, then you have to book it with FPL01. Okay, if it's in a certain other range, so from 3,000 to 6,000, then it's FPL2. How do you know? And how much does it cost? And that service we're currently planning, or actually that route extension, will help you on extending that. Okay. Right. In the end of the call, we're collecting more questions from you guys and girls. And we will send out this documentation around to you, so you know how to do that, and you see like what you can do with that. Okay. So I think that was my presentation part. Karin, did I forget something?
No, actually not. But we have one question where we might can get a little bit more into detail, and that is actually the price calendar.
Okay, no price.
Maybe you can show this one more time, and Clever Reisen has also the price calendar. Maybe this could be a reference.
Okay, so we're talking about this thing here, right?
Yes, the price calendar.
Okay. Price calendar is something we changed recently. There are multiple ways of doing it. The preferred way, doing it on the hotel level, is here. Yeah. But we also introduce other ways of making it even more complex. So all you enter here is your parameters and so on. Yeah. Send it off and you get a list. For example, let me just do that. I'm not sure whether it's a good example, but let's try that one out. So it's that GIATA ID. Is that date range? By the way, you can make duration afterwards, but if you leave it out, it's any duration. So then you define the interval, like what kind of interval you want to have. Usually it's daily basis, right? And all the parameters you have in the search here as well. So therefore the list of search parameters is quite long as well. So let's just send that one off. Oh, expected that to happen. We don't have offers for that Giata ID. Let's take another one. Whatever. Take an offer where we have like number of hotels. The Giata ID of that offer would be, that's the one, 3263, quite close. Not sure why it's not displaying it. It must be some parameter which is default set. Just try to remove Giata here. Oh yeah. So similar to what we've seen is now we get offers in March. In this example here, we get the offers beginning of 1st of May. So 1st of May, it's for the duration of 2 days, 228. 2nd of March, 237, and so on, right? So that's the price calendar. By the way, there is a new price calendar. I hope that did answer the question. There's a new price calendar we now introduced. It's in test area, where we introduced it to make it more complex. Sometimes you have cases where you have multiple Giata ID or multiple hotel codes. And that's something we introduced now. So, because here you can only have one Giata at the end of story. No comma, separate the list or whatever. No, only one. And we have customer actually ask, can we have that price calendar in a different way? And we said, no worries, you can have that. Okay, but that's coming with one of the next releases. Okay, let me add a little comment here. I know everybody is aware of Corona. It's definitely something everybody is facing every day. We are currently focusing on the flex tariff only because of the flexibility which customers want to get. And what we see as a focus that it's maybe something we have a new question. That's cool. That we also make it technically possible to display the exact date till what time or date it's cancelable. And that's also I wanted to share with you shortly because I jumped over it, I think. When we display the information, whether it's bookable or non-bookable, we display some kind of code in brackets. What is that for? We have in the explanation, we have the information that what does it mean? For example, P1D means it's cancelable 1 day before departure. If it's not stated otherwise, it's always 1 minute before midnight. We have also funny cases. I think we've seen one in between from FTI where it's cancelable was something like 2 o'clock the day before departure. And in order not that you need to calculate that, what you can take that code and you can calculate off your departure date that time frame. So you can display then something like free cancellation, actually not on, until the 6th, in this example, the 6th of June by 1 minute before midnight. And that helps customer to decide, no worries, I can easily cancel that. That's the idea behind why we do those codes. And how do we do that? We map the technical or logical definition of the tour operator to something which is more technical. Yeah? And that's how we display it in brackets. And yes, we're on that, translating that to other languages too. Okay.
I would like to thank everyone for participating in the webinar and the great interest that we are having in the English webinar. We are looking now into having it on a regular basis. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jens, for the detailed explanation.
Thank you. Thank you too.
And I wish everyone
for listening.
and I wish everyone a great afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye. See you.